Yes, very good evening, everyone. Please tell me, is my voice audible to all of you? If you want to text me personally, you can text to Dr. MM. If you don't have any issue, you can text to the host, Reflections with Dr. Vivekananda. Okay, yeah, thank you, Pratyusha. Okay, thank you, Vijay. Yeah, so yes, I'm Dr. Mamatha, well known to all of you as Dr. Chaitra. So welcome to this first session of GRIT 2022 of Dr. Vivekananda's Reflections IAS Academy. And yes, as always, I want this to be an interactive session. Please do not feel shy to express your doubts to me. And as I already told you, you can text me personally to Dr. MM in the Zoom comment section. This class is for you, so you should gain a lot. Remember this, I repeat, this class is for you, so you have to gain a lot. You can even torture me by asking doubts, but make sure that this class is benefiting to you. Okay? Yeah. And previous students of GRIT, that is of GRIT 2021, know that I begin my classes with the quote posted on that particular day. So similarly, even this year, I'm going to do the same thing. So let us now see the quote posted in the morning in Reflections channel. This is the quote. The strongest factor for success is self-esteem. Believe you can do it and that you deserve it. You will definitely reach where you want to. Now, what is the essence of this quote? See, all of you know the essence of this quote. You need to remember that there is enormous power in self-belief. Right? How many of you have a lot of self-confidence? See, I know some of you have not qualified prelims and some of you are preparing for mains. So considering both the students, I'm asking this question. How many of you have a lot of self-confidence? Tell me. Acha, my voice is low. 1 second. Yeah, good evening, Sakshi. Good evening, Supraja. My voice is low. Okay, let me increase the sound. Is it fine now? Yeah, good evening, Govind. So tell me, please forget about your failures and tell me how many of you are confident about yourself. Okay. Okay. Okay, Sahil. Little low on confidence after failing to qualify prelims. Okay. But Sahil, it's over, right? Prelims is over. Prelims, this is not only for Sahil, but for everybody in this class. Prelims is over. Prelims result is also over. You can't go back and change your OMR sheet. So please do not worry about prelims now. Work on what needs to be done next. That's it. Past is past. You have to leave it behind you and think about what's ahead you. Okay. Yeah. So Sakshi says not a lot, but good amount of it. Okay, Sakshi, but this can be increased to a lot. Vijay says same here. Okay, Vijay. Mamta says I'm confident. Very good, Mamta. Pratyusha says self-confidence good. Okay, very good, Pratyusha. Vijay Kumar. Okay, okay, yeah. So yes, you need to have this. Now, do you know this cycle of success? I'll just draw it here for you. Please do not think all this is waste of time. Okay, all this is essential for you for self-motivation to keep you go forward, continuously go forward. Okay, yeah. Now see, you have belief and then comes your potential, then comes your action, then comes your result, and with result you will get belief. See, for example, if we start from result, now some of you have not qualified prelims, so these people should still have that belief in you that you can do it next time. And those who have qualified prelims should believe in themselves that they can clear this mains. That is this aspect. Then you already have belief. Now what belief you should have? You, along with belief, you should know that you have this potential to do anything you want. So this is called potential. Now, knowing that you have potential is not enough. You also need to do action that is appropriate to this preparation of UPSC. So do the action. Now this cycle is going to give you success. So do not forget this cycle and do not forget about the self-confidence which you need to have. The grit and all. Okay, tell me what is grit? We have been talking about grit from the last 1 year and this initiative is also called as grit. Now can anybody tell me what is grit? Don't think that this is unnecessary. All this is necessary because UPSC aspirants need to stay motivated all the time. And this helps in that motivation. Tell me what is grit? Okay, Vijay says courage. Abdul says determination. Sujita says consistency. Yes, other responses, please. Come out of the comfort zone. Talk to me. Tell whatever is there within you. Don't feel shy. You have to express yourself. Bal Govind says strength. Sahil says resilience. Harit says any acronym. Okay, Harit. So you come up with acronym like in Gati sessions. I think you're going back to Gati sessions. Kundan says perseverance in the face of difficulty. Okay. Yes, I have received good amount of responses. Now Harit is going to work on that acronym of GRIT and tell us. Okay. Yeah. See, GRIT is, yes, all of you are right. All of you are right. The responses you have given me are all the components of GRIT. GRIT is a combined term of all these aspects. Yes, even Coco says direction. Yes. So it is having a strong determination to succeed. That means you have to work every single day, not just for weeks or months, but for even years. That is the exact meaning of GRIT. And why this initiative is named as GRIT? Because this is a daily answer writing initiative, and you have to work hard every single day. That is why this has been named as GRIT. Okay, so be consistent, have passion for your goal, and then go ahead. Right? Yes. Now let us begin today's session. Yeah, I've seen your copies. I'm going to give personal evaluation and personal reviews to those who have posted the copies in the advanced group. I have also seen the copies from the Reflections Daily Answer Writing group. That is a free initiative. And today I'm going to show the two copies of two answers from the advanced group and two answers from the basic group. Okay, so please be in the class until we complete this class. It's going to be a very quick class. Yeah. Now, please pay attention. The first question for today is, describe the advancement of science and technology in ancient and medieval Indian periods. What are the most important lessons we can draw from them? Now, first aspect is, see, now you're sitting in the examination hall. Now everybody please mute yourself. Immediately after joining, please mute yourselves. Yeah. So see, now you're in the examination hall. You are seeing this question. Please remember that when you read the question for the first time, don't immediately go to writing the answer or thinking about it. Read the question one more time, because in the examination hall, you won't be with a clear mindset immediately. Immediately after taking the question paper, don't see the question and don't start writing. No, don't do that mistake, because you can't erase it afterwards. Stay calm and composed. You have to decide what to write first, which questions you know first. Okay, so you're going to read this question. If you don't understand this question for the first time, then you're going to read it for the second time. If you don't understand it for the second time, read it for third time. If it is a tough question, you can also read it for fourth or fifth time. This is not at all a mistake, and this is not at all a wastage of time. See, if you read the question for one time, you start writing your answer, and in between your answer, if you realize that you are writing a wrong answer, then how will you feel? You can't go back, right? So that is the reason it's okay even if you spend some 30 seconds extra on reading the question one more time, right? That is the first aspect. Now, after reading the question, the next aspect you should remember is, first is reading the question. After reading the question, second aspect is, you have to search for the key directive. What are the key directives in this question? Now, key directive in this question is, the first one is describe. Second one is what. These are the key directives in the question. So you will find this in every question, right? Every question. Now you need to know what you should write when you find the key directive of describe. And you also should know what you should write if you find this what. And see here, this what can be a trap. This what can be a trap. You should know, what is this what asking for? Is it asking for an elaborative aspect or specific aspect? Okay, so there are two things in this. Is this what, this word what will ask for elaborative aspect in some questions, and specific aspects in some questions. This you will know only if you read the questions 4 to 5 times. Fine. So these are the key directives of the question. Now the third one is, I'm writing it here. Third one is, you have to identify the dimensions. Identify the dimension. That means what I need to write, what headings I have to put in this particular question. That is your third aspect. After dimensions, you are done with 50% of the answer. If you identify the dimensions, you are done with 50% of writing the answer. You can directly get into writing the answer in a flow, right? Now, for this particular question, now I'll tell you. First is, we have read the question. We have identified the key directives. Now, can anybody tell me the dimensions of this question? Please respond to me in a single message. Tell me the dimensions of this question. I told you dimensions are nothing but the main headings of this particular answer. So tell me. Please be quick. Vijay, don't press enter immediately after the words. If you press so, your messages will be coming in a flow instead of a single message. So instead press shift plus enter. That way your entire message will be in a single message. Your entire words will be in a single message. Shift plus enter. Okay, Vijay says advancements, lessons. Okay, so Vijay wants to go with advancements and lessons. Okay, other dimensions. Jagadish says medicine, astronomy, architecture, science. Jagadish, this is what? See, this is what? Please understand. That's what I want to know from you all, where you're standing in answer writing skills. When Jagadish, and please do not feel bad when I mention your names. This is a way of interaction. Okay, everybody is a learner here, so please do not feel bad. When Jagadish is saying medicine, astronomy, architecture, and science, Jagadish, please understand those are not the dimensions. Okay, now I'll tell you what are dimensions. You have to know what is meant by dimension in a question. Mahesh says writing advancement in different fields like chemistry, maths. That becomes only one dimension, Mahesh. Rohit says science and technology in ancient and science and technology in medieval. Okay, Rohit has answered half of the question. Then Sakshi says intro of science and technology in India. In body, Sakshi is good. Sakshi was part of my Prakashan series, so she's actually giving responses as per whatever I told her in the Prakashan series. Very good, Sakshi. Yes, Sakshi has given the appropriate answer. So when I ask about dimensions, Sakshi is saying introduction of science and technology in India. Then in body, she wants to talk about advancement in ancient and then in medieval times. And then she wants to talk about lessons from them and conclusion. Sujita says introduction, advancement of science and technology in ancient and medieval periods, lessons drawn from them. And one more dimension is conclusion, Sujita. So even conclusion becomes a dimension. When you're writing intro as a dimension, even conclusion becomes a dimension. Please remember this, everybody. Bala says dimensions, introduction, developments during ancient and medieval period, lessons. Very good, Bala Govind. Yes, yes. So these are called as dimensions. You can learn from the responses of your friends here. Dimensions are nothing but the broad headings you keep. So whenever you see a question, you have to first know what to be written under the headings. I mean, what to be written as the headings. That is the dimensions. When you do this, 50% of your work is done. Mahesh says writing legacy of ancient and medieval times. It's not legacy, Mahesh. Mamatha says what is meant by science and technology. Why Mamatha? Why do you want to go with what is meant by science and technology? No, you should not broaden your answer this way. You have to go specifically. I'll tell you gradually. Okay, don't worry about it. Ancient and medieval conclusion. Okay. Rekha says intro, body, developments during ancient, lessons we can learn. Very good, Rekha. Yeah. So now let's get into this. Yes. See, this session is for you to understand from your friends' responses also. This way, you will never make a mistake again. So don't consider this as wastage of time. Please mute yourself. Yes. So the dimensions of some of you are correct. Now, the next thing you have to do is you have to think about what needs to be written, right? So when you see this question, immediately you have come till dimensions. Now think about how you can write immediately and write down the specific points here. If at all you remember any specific fact or data, write it down immediately here beside the question. Data, fact, historical figures, names. This should happen quickly and this will come with practice. Okay, trust me, this will definitely help you, and I'll tell you why you have to do this. Okay, data, facts, any historical figures you want to talk about, or any interesting phrase you got into mind while reading this question, write them beside the question. Done? Now like you can do the same thing for rest of the questions. Now if you do this, what will you understand? You will know for which questions you are able to come up with something to write. Instead of just reading the question and writing blindly, if you do this work even before starting your answer for every question, you will know what to hit correctly. Is this clear to everybody? Please give me a thumbs up. Please give me a thumbs up. So I want to know if you're understanding or not. Okay, Pratyusha says this is first time, somewhat confusing. Don't worry, Pratyusha. We are going to have 90 sessions. 90. We are going to have 90 similar sessions. And in these sessions, I'm going to make every one of you perfect in answer writing. You know what? I have taken only 17. I have taken only 17 sessions last time. 17 GRIT sessions. And all the students who have written GRIT answers were able to write best answers on 17th day. So this happened only in 17 days. Now you imagine the effect of 90 days. So even if you are a beginner, please don't worry. You are going to know how to approach even an unknown question, right? Okay, Kundan, Pratyusha, Govind. Okay, yeah, fine. Yeah, so let me go forward. Now we have done the groundwork. So this is called the groundwork for a question, right? We have done the groundwork. Now you do this for all the questions from 1 to 20 when you receive the question paper. After doing this, now when you come back to first question and when you see that you have worked on the first question, please mute yourself, somebody. I'm getting a lot of disturbance, please. Okay. So now after you read the 20 questions and after you make such thing beside the question of writing this, like writing whatever you can, you will know you can directly enter the writing the answer. Now coming to the introduction. Now read the question again. Describe the advancement of science and technology in ancient and medieval Indian periods. This is the first part, right? Now let us read the second part. Second part talks about important lessons we can draw from them. Now what I want to tell you all is, when you're writing introduction, don't blindly start off with something you know. When you write something, make sure you include the keywords of the introduction. Now, what are the keywords in this keywords of the question? What are the keywords in this question? Science and technology, ancient and medieval periods, and even the second part of the question, which is the important lesson we can draw from them. So all these keywords should directly or indirectly be included in your introduction. Is this clear? So when I say they should be included in your introduction can be something like, see, you'll talk about science and technology. That means I'll show you my introduction. See, the history of science and technology in the Indian subcontinent begins with the prehistoric human activity of IVC, that is ancient. So see, I'm using the keyword of, I'll change the color. See, this is one keyword. Ancient medieval is other keywords. Lessons is one keyword. So I'm using a science and technology keyword here. I'm using ancient keyword here. I'm using medieval keyword here. And see, what are the most important lessons we can draw from them? That means, see here, I'm talking about India played a central role in science, maths, geography, astronomy. I have used a different term called Vedanga, which is a field connected to the study of Vedas and all these aspects. Now, what is all this? What is this part saying? This part is indirectly saying that we have learned a lot through this science and technology advancements in the ancient and medieval history. So till here, it is talking about science and technology, ancient and medieval, and the next part is indirectly and directly also talking about the lessons we have drawn from them. Is this point clear to everybody? Introduction part. This is how you have to write your introductions. You should not directly go and write about something about ancient India, something about medieval India, something about science and technology. No, you should not do that. You should practice in such a way that you include all the keywords in the question, in your introduction. Clear? Yes, this is the first point. Now, the second dimension. Now, as your friends have, some of your friends have rightfully pointed out, your second dimension will be science and technology in ancient and medieval Indian periods. Now, you can write this answer in two ways. First one is, you can put the heading as science and technology in ancient and medieval India. Then put the subheadings, like how some of your friends were talking about mathematics, astronomy, geography, metallurgy, right? All this you can do. Or even to make your answer even more clear, you can also differentiate into science and technology in ancient India, write some points. Science and technology in medieval India becomes your third dimension. So your dimension A is introduction, dimension B becomes science and technology in ancient India, dimension C becomes science and technology in medieval India. Next, what is asked in the question? Lessons learned. So lessons learned will become your another dimension, lessons learned, and then dimension E becomes your conclusion. This is how you come up with dimensions. Okay, now this part is clear. Now let's get into the explanation part. Okay, and as always, my way of teaching will be like this, that I will not show the PDF while explaining things, because if I do this, your concentration will go entirely on the PDF and you will not concentrate on whatever I'm saying. So I won't show the PDF. First I'll explain, then only I'll show you the part which I'm going to explain. Okay, yeah. Now, when we talk about science and technology in ancient India, I have seen your copies and many of you have written right parts. You have structured your answer well, you have written right points. Now, when we talk about ancient India and when we talk about science and technology specifically in ancient India, we have to talk about broad aspects. Remember this. And when you see this question, you need to know that there is a lot to write about science and technology in ancient India and science and technology in medieval India. So obviously your answer will be a lengthy one. While reading the question itself, you have to know this, that your answer will be a lengthy one. Now here you have to decide what points to be written in your answer. So divide it into a broad way, in a very good way, which has examples. Now, why did I say examples? Can anybody in the class tell me why did I say you have to include examples here? Tell me. I'll see who will respond. Why did I say you have to write this answer with appropriate examples? Vinod says lessons. Rekha says to substantiate. Bharat says evidences. Okay, but why? Why? Kundan says advancement. Harit says more marks. No, Harit. Why? Why did I say? Very good, Rekha. Very good. Because the key directive asked for describe. Very good. Yes. Yes, Nitin. Very good. Question asked to describe. Yes. Yes, Abdul. Question demand. Yes. Acha, okay, Pushkar, I forgot again. Okay, Pushkar, yeah. So see, the key directive asked for describe. Now, what is this describe? Describe in the sense, you need not talk about negatives. You need not talk about positives. Just talk about what is asked and give evidence for it. As Bharat is saying, give evidence for it with examples. That is describe. I hope you're writing this down in your notebook. Okay, when a question asks you to describe something, you have to just keep on writing about what is asked and provide evidence by giving examples wherever necessary. Okay, yeah. Now this is a subject of history, so your examples should include years. Please mute yourself. I'm getting a lot of disturbance from somebody. Yeah. So as this is history, your examples should include the names of kingdoms, the names of rulers. If you remember the years, centuries, you can make use of them. Okay, all the dynasties, kingdoms. This is important from the historical point of view. If you talk about architecture, all the temple names, places, okay, all these are very, very important. Now, when we see from the science and technology perspective of ancient India, you can talk about mathematics, which was contributed by Aryabhatta, who created 0. Then you can talk about Baudhayana. What did he do? He has come up with the value of pi. Then you can talk about Kanada, who wrote about gravity, and he also said that universe is made up of matter. Then you can talk about Brahmagupta. What did Brahmagupta do? What was his contribution? He has contributed immensely to mathematics as well as astronomy. He came up with the numerical system which is having this Arabic numbers, Arabic numericals. So this was contributed by Brahmagupta. This is about mathematics and astronomy. And talk about medicine, talk about surgery, talk about Ayurveda, Patanjali, Yoga Sutras, Charaka. Charaka has contributed a lot to in the form of Charaka Samhita. Talk about Shushruta, who played a very important role in coming up with different surgical tools. Then you talk about metallurgy, chemistry, architecture, all this by including the names. Okay, now I'll show you from the PDF. See, this is ancient India. I told you, divide your answer. Now this becomes your structure. We have talked about dimension. Now this becomes your structure. This is dimension. This is structure. Now, how are you going to structure your answer? See, this becomes your main heading, and under this you write many examples. One is Aryabhatta about 0, Baudhayana about the value of pi, Brahmagupta, Kanada. Okay, all this you can write under the heading. You can also make it this way. You can make this as 1, and you can write this as 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. Do not use points. Do not use arrows, or do not use such type of things or anything. Do not use this. 1 is fine. A, B, C is fine. This is called as proper structuring of answers. Okay. And see, when this is the margin for your answer, don't start your answer this way. Why are you leaving so much of space here? I have seen copies today. See, this is a PDF format, so I am leaving space. You can't leave space. If this is the margin for your answer, for your paper, excuse me. If this is the margin on your paper, start it right after your margin. Why are you leaving the space and then starting? Don't waste your space. You have limited space and limited number of words. So please make use of it. Okay. So don't use such things. Don't use such things. Use either 1, 1.1, 1.2 or ABC. This is called a structuring of answer, which is very, very important. Fine? Yes. Now, the next one is, see, we can take this as second one, medicine, surgery, Ayurveda. Then you talk about 2.1 as Sushruta, 2.2, the contribution of Charaka, 2.3 of Patanjali or Yoga Sutras. Then metallurgy, chemistry, architecture. See, I'm not going to deal with the content because I repeat, mains answer writing is not entirely about the content. Content, you will get it anywhere, but it is the approach to the answer you should know. And that's what I'm teaching you all now. After I share this PDF with you all, you can go through this content. But this approach, you can't go through while see, you can't understand even if you see the PDF file. So you have to attend these classes to know the approach of the answers, right? Yeah. Now, see, I have made use of the names of the people involved, right? Of examples of temples, pillars, places, paintings. All these are important from history point of view. This you have to remember. So please go to the PDF. Now, next dimension is science and technology in medieval India. The same thing, but make sure that you do not repeat the same points of science and technology in ancient India. Okay, just make a note of this point in your mind and start with your answer. Now, what will you start in medieval India? See, in medieval India, you have significant contribution in the geographical front. What is this? This calculation of latitude of places and then determination of timings of different places by depending on eclipses. Okay, this was the major contribution done during the medieval India. Then they have come up with a world atlas also. When you take from the geographical point of view, they have come up with a world atlas and they have marked all maps of different countries. That is one aspect. Then this mathematics contribution continued in medieval India also. You can talk about Sridhara, Ganitasara, who came up with Ganitasara. Then you can talk about the most important person, Bhaskaracharya. Can anybody tell me the book written by Bhaskaracharya? Because I've seen in your copies. I just want other people also to know that word. Leelavati, yes, Bharat. Siddhanta Kaumadi, Pushkar, Kundan Leelavati, iPhone Leelavati. Yes, Abdul, iron pillar metallurgy, yes. So you have to remember all this from historical point of view. Yes. So see, whenever you come up with specially such persons and books, please make a note of them immediately. Okay. For example, if you come up with any book, just write down book, author. Leave 4 pages. Leave 4 pages. In this way, whenever you find about any author and book anyway, in your entire UPSC preparation, open this book and write down here. This way, you will have all the names of the books and all the names of the authors at one single place, and you will readily have information to write in your mains answers. You will not forget it. Now, I bet that all the students who are attending this class, yes, Pushka, that's not right. That's not right. That's what I was about to say, but I just immediately went to the next person's response. Yes. So what was I saying? Book only 4 pages. Okay. So see, when you do this, right, you will have readily in your mind. And yeah, I bet that the students who are in this class will never forget that Leelavati was written by whom? Leelavati was written by whom? Bhaskara. Yes. Bhaskaracharya. It is not Bhaskara Gupta Vinod. It is Bhaskaracharya. See, even now you have learned this important aspect that it is not Bhaskara Gupta, but it is Bhaskaracharya. Now you will never forget that Leelavati and Bhaskaracharya. Okay. This is the importance of writing everything at one place. Okay. Charaka Samhita, all these aspects. So this you have to remember, right? Next you can also talk about other aspects of medieval India, which all the people, all the rulers of Mughal Empire have made a very good contribution to astronomy and medicine. If you don't remember them also, it's fine. You can just mention that particular line that they have contributed by specifically saying Delhi Sultanates or Mughal Empire people. Then Unani was started, and Unani medicine became more popular during this medieval period. Okay, this also you have to remember. Then you can also talk about the main contribution in agriculture sector. Many aspects, many devices, many technological advancements have taken place in agriculture sector, especially in the medieval India. Okay, you can also talk about other aspects of architecture, manufacturing, industries. You can talk about military technology, okay, shipbuilding, anything. Yes, Mahesh, irrigation system. Yes, anything. You can talk about this. So it's translated this into Persian during Akbar time. Yes, see, Bala Govind is giving a fact for all of you to remember. So it was translated by Faiz into Persian language during Akbar time. Okay, this also you can remember. Yes. So this is about medieval India. Now I'll show the PDF. Yeah. See, I told you about, yeah, even decimal system. I forgot to tell you all this. Even decimal system gained prominence, and it was introduced during this medieval Indian period. Okay. Yes. So just underline, or yeah, one more important aspect is underlining. Now, I have seen a few copies where students are not knowing, they're underlining, but they are not knowing what to underline and what not to underline. So, see, some students will do greatest, they will underline greatest Indian contribution. Some students will underline decimal system. Some will underline Ganita Sara by Sridhara. If you keep on underlining every single point in every line, do you think your paper will look neat? It won't look neat. So you need to know the unique aspects which you came up in your answer and underline them. For example, if you take this part, the unique aspects in this part are, see, Ganita Sara by Sridhara, Bhaskaracharya and Leelavati, and then that's it. These two are the important aspects. Rest all are normal points only, which you need to know. Okay, this is how you underline. If you see from the next para, see, calculate latitudes of places is an important point. Then massive observational devices is an important point. World atlas is an important point. This is fine. But if you keep on underlining astronomical observations, establishing latitudes, it won't look good, right? So this way you have to know what to underline and what not to underline. Okay. Yes. So astronomy, medicine, others I told you. Yes, I have seen your copies, and some of you have also come up with many good responses. Like they talked about individually IVC, they talked about Vedic civilization. That means they came in an order. I'm going to show you all the copies. They came in an order like ancient India of IVC, Vedas, then talking about the different dynasties. Okay, that way also you can write your answers. See, there is no single way of writing mains answers, but whatever you write, it should make some sense and it should be according to the demand of the question. That's it. Content can differ. I repeat, content can differ, but your approach to the question should not differ. Fine? Yes. Now, next one. This is the other dimension, relevance of lessons learned. This also is a very normal thing, which you can say that because of the knowledge we gained from the past, many future scientists, many scientists have worked, they have got a clarity of what needs to be done. And that's how now we have many inventions and they have discovered a lot of things. And there is a lot of progress that has happened in the science and technology. And today our country has a lot of modern technology and which is having a very good and strong scientific and technical manpower in the entire world. Entire world looks up to India when we take from the manpower point of view, and they expect India to do something from the technological point of view also. Okay, all this you can write in your own words. And then conclusion. Now this is one more important aspect. Please pay attention here. Conclusion. Now, as I told you all in introduction, you should also include the keywords of the question in your conclusion also. Okay. Now, what was the question? The keywords of the question were science and technology, ancient medieval, and important lessons, or what we can draw from them or what we know from them. Now see my conclusion, the way I have written. Undoubtedly, India has made enormous advancements from ancient and medieval periods. So I have made use of ancient and medieval then and has produced wide range of innovations. It's not an exaggeration to say that even the frontier fields of science and technology, see the terms I'm using here. Frontier fields of science and technology today have seen quick advancement in India because of the knowledge gained from our past. So this is indirectly saying lessons we learned from our past. Now, genuinely tell me, how many of you understood how I have written my conclusion? If you have doubts, I'll repeat again, but please tell me. Genuinely and frankly tell me, how many of you understood my way of writing the conclusion? Tell me, please. Rekha, Pushkar says progressive. Bharat says linking past to present. Okay, connects the introduction with conclusion. India as origin. Why India as origin, Harit? Okay, yeah, I'm seeing this way. I'll know how you're understanding what I'm saying. India's origin of science and technology. Nitin says using keywords and also linking it to present. Pushkar says using the question. Sujita says using the question's requirements to conclude. Yes, yes. So see, we have used the same keywords in introduction and we have come up with the introduction. Here, we have used the same keywords but ended on a futuristic and a positive note. This is the difference between introduction and conclusion. With introduction, you are going to make the reader, you tell him or her that you should enter my answer with some view. That is introduction. Conclusion is, I have completed my answer and I'm giving you a positive note before you conclude. Why the student should give a positive note in conclusion? Can anybody answer this question for me? Why am I saying that a student should give a positive note to the examiner in his conclusion? Why? Mahesh says, without ancient and medieval S&T, there is no modern development. Ram says, optimistic. Pushkar says, number chahiye. Yes, yes. Harit says, being optimistic. Kundan to show the optimistic attitude. That's it. Mamatha, aspirant should have balanced view. Okay. Yes, but why? Why? Very good, very good. Gives a good impact, good administrator. Yes, and all of you just see Rekha Singh's, that is Pushkar's response, and tell me. As an administrator, we should be optimistic. Yes. Marks, yes. Think from this angle. Don't always think from ethical angle. Don't always think from ethical angle. As an administrator, should be progressive. Yes. S&T going ongoing process also, we should be forward looking and will get marks. Yes. So see, it is after reading conclusion that your examiner will award you marks. He won't award you marks after seeing your dimensions or after reading only till here. He has to read till conclusion. Even if you write one word or one line, he has to, that is the rule. He has to read the conclusion. So he will award you the marks after reading conclusion. So only if your conclusion is good, only if your conclusion has all the aspects of the question, only if your conclusion ends on a positive and progressive note, he will feel very happy. Even if you have made some mistakes in the starting of your answer, he will forget them. He will skip them because you have made him happy with your conclusion. That is the importance of conclusion. Okay. So please make sure that now this way, now if you see the question again, don't you think in all the dimensions, you have rightfully written what is asked in the question? You have written about, you have described it, you have talked about science and technology in ancient and medieval, you have talked about lessons learned, you have talked about conclusion in a very good way, and even while ending your answer, you still remember about the keywords of the question. So even while writing the conclusion, you are having that question in your mind. This will give a huge positive impact or impression on the examiner's mind. That is the reason, even till conclusion, you have to remember the question. Is this fine, everybody? Yes, Vinod, it is final impression before rewarding. Yes. Yes, Sakshi, conclusion also reflects your decision-making skills. Yes. Yes. So conclusion should not be written in a hurried way. You should not hurry. Okay. Yes. Fine. Fine with first answer. Any doubts still here? Please tell me. Shall I go with the second one? Any doubts? There is that movie, right? I think it's NTR's, Junior NTR's movie, where he says a very long dialogue. He stays silent all of a sudden and immediately he'll say any doubt. So the same thing is with me. Okay, Govind says, yes, ma'am, fine with first one. Pratisha says, good, ma'am. Govind, any doubt? Yes, yes, any doubt. What's that movie? That's a long dialogue by NTR, I think. Yes, you can unmute and talk if you want to. I'm done with my first answer. So if you want to talk anything, you can unmute and talk. Acha, it is Yamadonga. Okay. So yes, now let's get into second question. Now, as I have told you all, first question in an elaborative way, now I want to extract from you for the second question. Okay? Yeah. Now the second question is, why Indian rulers couldn't defend their kingdoms against foreign invaders during the early medieval period? What were its implications? So what you need to do for the first time, first read the question once. If you don't understand, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, even 5 times. After that, what is the next? Okay, tell me in order what you should do. When you see the question, tell me in an order what you should do. You can use shortcuts also. You can unmute and talk also. Please tell me. This is to ensure if all of you are understanding or not. Tell me what you should do after seeing the question. Vijay says, read, identify key directives, dimensions. Very good, Vijay. Sujita says, read till you understand questions, key directives, dimensions. Very good, Sujita. Kundan, read the question, understand and write dimensions roughly. Very good, very good. Yes. Sakshi, identify the dimensions, underline if possible. Yes, Sakshi, you can do this also. You can underline on the question paper. Mamatha says, mark keywords, only keywords, Mamatha. Nitin says, read, keywords, dimensions. See, Why? You see, Nitin has written a very shortcut, right? In short words, you can use such things without going for the long sentences. You can do such thing like how Nitin has done. Okay. Yes. Now you have read the question. Now you have to identify the key directives of the question. Key directives of the question. Then you go with the dimensions. Now, what is a key directive in this question? Key directive is different from keywords. Please remember this. Key directive and keyword are different. Key directive is explain, comment, describe, analyze, critically analyze, explain, describe. All this what, why, all this how, all this come under key directives. Keywords is nothing but the main aspects of the question, the main words of the question. That means about what the question is talking about. Okay. Now the key directive is why Indian rulers couldn't defend their kingdoms against foreign invaders during the early medieval period. What were its implications? Now I have seen all your copies today. In the second part, what were its implications? There is a difference in some of the answers. Okay, we will get to that part very, very soon. Yes. Now we have identified key directives also. Why? Now, when the key directive is asking why, you should know what you should write here. Why Indian rulers couldn't defend their kingdoms? That means what are the reasons? What are the reasons that Indian rulers could not or failed to defend their kingdoms against foreign invaders? So foreign invaders kept on coming, especially in the early medieval period. So why could Indian rulers stop them from entering India? They have entered India and established the Delhi Sultanate as well as the Mughal rule. So why did Indians couldn't stop them? That is the question. So your dimensions. Now tell me the dimensions. We have identified the key directives. Now tell me the dimensions quickly. Vijay says foreign invasion, early medieval period implications. Acha, Vijay, you want to talk about foreign invasion? Why foreign invasion? Okay, Vijay is considering foreign invasion as the keyword. Rohit says failure of Indian kings and implications of it. That's it, Rohit. I repeat, when I say dimensions, please give me the entire dimensions. Yes, as Sujita has given now. Introduction, reasons for failure to defend against foreign invasions, implications, conclusion. Very good. Very good, Sujita. Yes, these are the dimensions. Don't ignore intro and conclusion because even these have marks. Balagovin says dimensions, intro, reasons for failure, defending, implication, conclusion. Yes, yes. So now let's get into this aspect. Now we have identified dimensions. Now you should know how to structure your answer and what you should write under the dimensions. Okay. Yes. Now come back to introduction. In introduction, you have to include the keywords. Now, what are these keywords? Keywords is you have to specially talk about foreign invaders. That means your introduction should have the word foreign invaders. It should have the words this rulers or any Indian rulers or specific kingdoms, because it's talking about kingdoms. So kingdoms, you should talk about medieval period. That's it. And implications also indirectly you can include in your introduction. Now I'll show you if I have followed everything or not. See, this is my introduction. Early medieval period. So medieval period is included here. And I have written what actually medieval period entails, right? Of Indian history is marked by various foreign invasions. So foreign invaders is here in the northwest frontiers, which led to the fall of the Rajput kingdom. So I'm talking about kingdoms, and see the question asked about what were its implications. So excuse me. So I have written this as which led to the fall of Rajput. So this is an implication. I'm writing this in my introduction itself, one after the another. And finally, the establishment of Islamic Sultanate in North India. So even this is an implication. Islamic Sultanate has been established. Is it fine now? Pratyusha, you were confused for the first question. Now you tell me, is this clear? Now you understood how I have included all the key terms in the question in my introduction. Others also, yes, Pratyusha has responded to me. She's saying yes. Others? Nitin says intro about early medieval and invasions. Very good, Nitin. See, Nitin is going by this keyword of introduction. He's saying he wants to introduce with early medieval India, and he wants to also talk about invasions in introduction. Very good. Then reasons for failure, implications, conclude. Yes. Mahesh says reasons for failure, implications. Yes. Mamatha says situations during medieval period, reasons for failure to define, implications. Yes. Okay. So fine. This is how you write your introductions. So now nobody will have anything negative to talk about your introduction, because even if they say anything negative, you can tell them, I am going with the question itself. I haven't deviated from the question even in my introduction. That means in introduction also, I'm going all around the question only without getting deviated. This is what you have to do. Okay. Now the next one is reasons that led to the failure of Indian rulers and their implications. Yes. Now, as I told you, when the question asked about what were its implications, you should know from two perspectives. One is the implications from the broad perspective can be positive and negative. This is one aspect. Most of you have written this. Most of you have gone with writing about positive implications and negative implications. But there is another angle to write this answer. What is that angle? See, the question is talking about Indian rulers' failure to defend their kingdoms and immediate implication of their failure. That means you have to write about implications from the reasons of failure only. This is another aspect of writing this answer. Is this clear? See, positive implications and negative implications can be taken under broad aspect. But there is another angle to write this answer. That is talking about implications by taking the reasons of failure. I'll show you from my answer. I'll tell you how there is another angle to write this answer. Both the angles are right. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm telling you all how to broaden your thought process. That means you should not blindly believe any particular answer. You should think from various angles, like there is a possibility of UPSC asking the question this way also. So it need not be always positive and negative. UPSC may also be asking about only the negative implications of this failure. Is this fine to everybody? I'll just pause for some time. Please tell me. Is this clear, or this particular point you want me to repeat? Please tell me. Fine. Everybody understood? Please respond. What happened? Is my internet, like, are you able to listen to my voice? Okay. So no doubt still here. You understood, right? This question can be taken in two formats, especially the second part of the question, which is asking what were its implications. So what were its implications can be to talk about either positive and negative implications in a broadened way after the fall of the kingdoms, or the immediate implications of the reasons of the fall of the kingdom. Fine. I'll show you from my answer. Okay. Yes. Now we are done with introduction. Now how I wrote this answer is, I have kept only one heading, that is reasons that led to the failure of Indian rulers and their implications. Now when I'm saying that and their implications in the dimension B only, I mean that I'm relating both the reason, this is the reason, and this is the implication. From this is the implication. This is how I am right. I have written the answer. Okay. Now let us see. See. Now, why did Indian rulers fail? First, an important aspect is they were disintegrated. They were not having this political unity. That is the major aspect. That is the major aspect, right? Now, what is the implication of this? Because of this, because of lack of political unity, they could not plan properly. They could not come up with good strategies, right? And whenever there is combined opposition, there will be huge army. So when there is no huge army, how can they even fight the foreign invaders? That is the first aspect, and its implication. Second one is they kept on fighting in between their kingdoms, or Indian rulers, they kept on fighting in between them without even thinking about the outside rulers who are waiting to enter India and totally drain the wealth from India. That is the next aspect. Now, what is the main implication of this particular constant fightings between these rulers? The change of boundaries. So India became weak because of this change of boundaries. That is its implication. Okay, next you can also talk about, okay, you tell me other reasons. Can you talk about administrative system? Administrative system didn't have a proper spy system, because what happens if there is a spy system, you will know who is coming inside, or who is planning to do something. But there is no efficient spy system also. That is one of the reasons for failure of Indian rulers to fight the foreign invaders. Then one more important aspect, which is essential from the Indian society point of view, is the caste system. Indian rulers were having this caste mindset. The Varna system was prevalent then. So they were thinking only Kshatriyas should fight and defend the kingdoms, and others were just the spectators. Right. That is one thing. Then you can also talk about all the conquest of India by Turks and all, and how they neglected, how this was neglected by the Indian rulers. They didn't even care when somebody was already entering into India. They didn't even plan, at least at that particular point of time. All this will become the reasons. Okay, I have seen your copies. I'll show you all copies, the reasons you have written also. But when it comes to historical point of view, don't go with generalized lines. Don't go with generalized points. Hit it rightly. Hit it according to the Indian rulers, according to the kingdoms, according to the administration, political system, society during those rulers. Okay, all this you need to talk about. Even the military aspect also. Indians did not have a proper military system. They totally relied on elephants, whereas other rulers were coming on horses, and they had very good technological oriented armies. If you remember, I think many of you are having this Bahubali movie on your mind now. The number of elephants, the number of horses in the during the interval scene of Bahubali. Yes, Pushkar, standing army wasn't present. Lack of espionage system. Yes, Bala. Sakshi says negligence of frontier security. Yes. Dominance of morals and lack of diplomacy. Yes, you can use such terms also, Sakshi. Very good. Mahesh says economic aspect, like lack of effective and centralized revenue system. Yes, even this also has a huge role. Right. Yes. All these can be the reasons. All these can be the reasons. But the most important aspect you need to know is prioritization of these points. Which is the broad aspect? Which is the less important aspect? You should know this. Now, what becomes a major aspect? Any major aspect is that aspect which involves major part of the people, major part of the governance. This should be written first. Fine. Now, let us see the PDF. Now, why did I write no political unity as the first reason? Because obviously, unity itself means large number of people. So that is the reason I've written it as first point. Okay. Just when you go through the PDF, you will understand that I have written the reason followed by the implication. I have written the reason followed by the implication. Okay. This you have to notice. See, you can also make use of the names of the kings whenever those come into your mind. I'm not saying to write your entire answer by naming the kings and dynasties. You can just write whenever you get into mind, but make sure that is right. Don't write wrong answers. Don't write 17th century for a king who actually belongs to 11th century. Right? Yes. Then you can make use of battles also. If anything you get into your mind. Okay. All these things you can do. Yes, I talked about the spy system. I talked about Varna system and caste system, Kshatriyas. I talked about this limited understanding of foreign invasion. So they were not giving that importance. They were neglecting, okay, because they didn't even have the idea of international politics and methods. Fine. Now conclusion. Now you are going to tell me what the conclusion of this answer should have. I'll show you the question. Yeah. You tell me what should the conclusion of this question have? Yes, Vijay, that's a very good reason. Weak successors. Sakshi says lack of strong leadership. Yes, Sakshi, but you have already made use of lack of diplomacy, right? So leadership can also be related with diplomacy when you talk from historical perspective. Harit says there is no idea of India as one, nuclear kingdoms. What is this, Harit? There is no, yes, you are right. Yes. So there was no, this unity. Yes, they were nuclear and small kingdoms, right? So tell me what all you need to include in your conclusion. You can use shortcuts, you can unmute and talk. I want responses. I'm going to read out the names, those who don't give me responses. Asha, Baby, Harini, Tracy, Rachana, Supraja, Vinesh. I didn't receive your responses yet. Please respond. You tell me the conclusion now. I want you all to leave this fear behind and talk. At least send me personally. Pushkar says, can we say we finally learned strength of unity and used it against British to win freedom? Okay, Pushkar, but why do you want to talk about British and freedom here? If you have already used the terms of the questions, and then if you have space left to use a sentence, you can use it, Pushkar. But don't get deviated from the key terms of the question. Okay? Because the question is talking about medieval period. So when you're talking about British period and freedom period, just make sure you have written a good conclusion before making use of this particular statement. Pushkar says the message was infighting led to the downfall. Message was infighting led to the downfall. Govind says brief reasons in one line. Why downfall of local kings and what could have been done to safeguard Indian territories. Govind, I understood that. Yeah, please, all of you look into the response of Govind. This is a very good point which I came up with the response of Govind. See, Govind says he wants to talk about reasons in one line. That is a good thing because the question asked for reasons. Then he wants to write about what could have been done to safeguard Indian territories, right? But Govind, here you're thinking from positive aspect. Fine, but you're forgetting that you're talking about history. Can you change the history? You can't suggest the rulers to do something in history. Did you understand the difference? Govind as well as everybody. What I mean to say, ending on a futuristic note is fine, but you're suggesting something for history which can't be changed at all. So here you should not suggest something on a futuristic note. Everybody understood? This is a very good point raised by Govind, through which I could clear this point. Yes. So next one is Mamatha says, though we lack India's unity in medieval period, but we have strong rulers and kingdoms who further promoted our strength to realize India as one. Are you sure, Mamatha? After medieval India, did we have strong rulers and kingdoms? Did we have continuous kingdoms? Nitin says early medieval period foreign invasions leading to changes in later period and strengthening. Okay, Kundan says how foreign invasions affected the area and a positive aspect out of it. Okay, yes. So this way you can do, like how Kundan is saying, you can talk about foreign invasions, how they have affected and that we have already talked about in implications. So Kundan wants to make a single line or a simple line to talk about this affected thing by foreign invasions, and then he wants to talk about positive aspect out of it in the conclusion, which is a good thing. Okay. Yes, Rohit says if invasions wouldn't happen, if Indians haven't been failed, and our history would have been different. Okay, so Rohit wants to write this line. Okay. Now, Rohit, you have given a good line, but don't you think when you're saying our history would have been different, you are putting a question mark in the examiner's mind? Now the examiner will think what different or how different India would be. Are you understanding, Rohit? Are you understanding, Rohit? Please, everybody, see the Rohit's response. Rohit is saying that's a very good line, but in this particular answer, if you use it, you will have a doubt unanswered, which is saying how different India would have been. So you should not use such lines in this answer. Okay? Yes. Actually, you're unable to unmute, Sakshi. I think I need to change my settings. Please try it out now, Sakshi.
Hello.
Yeah, you're audible, Sakshi. Tell me.
Hello. Okay, ma'am. In the conclusion, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. Go on.
Like what I had written in the conclusion is that
Your voice is breaking, Sakshi.
hello.
Yeah, please keep talking.
Okay. The conclusion which I wrote is therefore the weakening of the Indian rulers paid way to the foreign invaders that changed the political, economic, social map of the subcontinent. Is that okay?
No, it's not okay. Where are you using the key terms of the question here? Instead, you're talking about economic, political, and other aspects in your conclusion. You can include, I'm not saying you do not include, but when you're including this, your conclusion should also talk about the question. You understood, Sakshi?
Yes, because it was asking the implication as well. That's why I was like that, there were definitely...
Can you repeat your statement?
Yes, ma'am. I have written that therefore the weakening of the Indian rulers, that it shows that the Indians, they were getting downgraded, paved way to the foreign invaders that changed the political, economic, social map of the subcontinent.
Okay, so you talked about foreign invaders, you talked about this, and then you in implications part, you're talking about this social and political aspect.
Yes, I just wanted to use a short conclusion because I thought I was already overshooting the word limit. So I just wrote.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. If you're talking about that as a part of implication, then that's fine, Sakshi. You can do it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, I'll see your copy again, and I'll give you a personalized review. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Let me see the responses.
Yes.
Yeah, Sakshi. Tell me. Okay. So, and same British used it. Okay. I think I missed some responses. Invasion led to creation of country with diversified cultural tradition. Yes, Vinesh, this is absolutely right. Vinesh wants to use this statement. He's saying invasion led to creation of country with diversified cultural traditions. Yes, this can be used. Mahesh says, although we had surrendered to foreign invaders, the rulers had Indianized. Very good. Yes, Mahesh, you can use this. Yes. So Mamatha says we have Tippu Sultan, Shivaji. But they were not constant, Mamatha. Even they kept on, they could not stay for long. They had contributed well, but they could not stay for long. Okay. Sujita says, although we couldn't defend and face the negative impacts of it, but yet benefited various. Very good, Sujita. You can write, this can be a good conclusion. Yes. Vijay says, multiple wars and new kingdoms made India a vibrant society, multicultural, which can still experience today. Yes, Vijay, you can add this. Kundan, okay, Kundan. Yes. So yes, I've received your responses. Fine. So now you understood, right? Now you got a broad idea of how an answer should be written. In tomorrow's questions, you make use of these points and write it. Okay. Yeah. Now let's see some of the copies for today. Any doubt till here? Please tell me. Shall we go to the copies? I'll quickly show all the copies. As today is the first day, I took some more time. But from tomorrow onwards, it's going to be a quick session. Now you understood what to see from a question and how to start your introduction and conclusion. So from tomorrow onwards, your sessions are going to be very, very quick. Yes? Tell me. Any doubts? Yeah. So let us go with this question. This is the copy of Bharat. Bharat, are you in class now? Please tell me. Bharat, are you in class? Okay, yes, Bharat is in class. Now let's see his copy. He has written this first answer on advancement of science and technology in ancient and medieval Indian periods. Now see, first important aspect which I noticed in Bharat's copy is the time. He has taken 20 minutes to write this answer. One thing I appreciate in Bharat is, without any fear and even without feeling bad, he has mentioned this time. Very good, Bharat. I really appreciate you for frankly mentioning the time taken for you to write this answer. Because usually for a 15 marker, you need 12 minutes of time or maximum 13 minutes of time. But during practice, if you write your answer genuinely, it may take longer duration, like how Bharat took today. But gradually, this time will be reduced. So make sure you trace your time. Make sure you write the time on your copy. Okay, this is first aspect. Next, the next aspect is the legibility which he has maintained. See, I'm not, his handwriting is good, and also the legibility. That means, see how he has underlined. He didn't underline all the aspects. He has underlined only the headings as well as subheadings. So this makes your copy neat. Here he could have underlined this words also. Okay, astronomical telescope, this also. But don't you feel his copy is neat? You can underline these names also. Okay, so this is one more aspect. And another aspect is he is making use of the numbers. Instead of using points or arrows, he is making use of numbers. So even you can do this. And if you're coming up with any subpoint, write 1.1 or A. This is one more aspect. Now let's get into what Bharat has written. See, in introduction, he has written about modern technologies and scientific achievements are the legacy of India's past. So here he's talking about India's past, whereas Bharat is talking about ancient and medieval periods are as follows. That means he has, Bharat, you haven't written a proper introduction. You quickly went into answer. Where is your introduction? Okay, so you have to work on introduction here. Then see, you quickly went to the second part. Significant achievements in ancient and medieval period are as follows. Significant achievements of what? Okay, that also you have to mention. Now Bharat has come up with an orderly way. First, he's talking about IVC, then Vedic civilization, then pre-Mauryan and Mauryan times. Please mute yourself. Then Guptan times. Okay. Now, this is a good way of writing. You can write it this way. But Bharat, don't you think if you write it this way, you are narrowing your write-up? Please mute yourself. Don't you think you're narrowing your write-up? Because when you take IVC as a subheading or a heading, what you can write? You can only write about grid pattern and houses. And do you think this is the main contribution or main advancement of science and technology in ancient India? Bharat, I want you to respond in the comment box, or you can unmute and talk. Everybody, are you understanding? When Bharat is writing about IVC as the first point, is advancement of science and technology in IVC the most important aspect of ancient India? Is it? Others also can respond. Is this the most important aspect of ancient India? It is not. There are more important aspects, more important advancements in science and technology in a broader way, where we talked about mathematics, where we talked about astronomy. Those are the broader terms which will have implication on the entire world. Astronomical insights, entire world is using those insights. Mathematical calculations, the invention of zero, entire world is making use of it. We can't even write anything without the number zero. And the value of money increases with zero. So going in an order is fine. But for this type of answers, you have to give importance to priority. So this doesn't become your priority, Bharat. This should be written as a later point. Okay? Yes. Now, Bharat also, you should not feel bad, Bharat. All this is learning process. You can also learn from next copies. Now I have other copies. Now you can stay relaxed when I go through other copies. But everybody, you should not feel bad about others. You should not make them feel low. Okay? You should in fact be thankful for them that because of their copies, you are learning a lot. Fine? Yes. Yes, Govind, that way you have to go. Yes. So Vedic civilization, yes. So the same thing applies here, Bharat. All these are in an ancient period order, you're right. But the prioritization of points is important. This is important from structure point of view. So when you see the structure of this answer, it is astronomy, mathematics, scientific aspects, geographical aspects. Okay, this comes first. All this should be your later points. Okay, yes. So please make sure. And as you have written only this aspects, you could not come up with the main aspects only in ancient India. You understood, right? As you have divided your answer this way, you could not come up with main aspects. And you went into the second dimension of medieval India. And here you wrote about Gati Yantra, which is drawing water. That is fine. Large boulder of 80-ton weight. That is fine. But how this is helping the science and technology in a larger aspect, Bharat? Are you understanding? This is a very good point. This was a very good invention in the ancient period. But this is not an advancement. It is an interesting aspect. See, you have written this point. This is a very interesting point which Bharat has written. All of you see the second point. The large boulder of 80-ton weight placed on the Raja Gopuram of Sri Brihadishwara temple in 11th century is still a question as how they carried that huge weight stone to greater height. This is a very interesting aspect because that is not yet solved. But how can this be an advancement in science and technology? What are we learning from it? You understood, Bharat? So this point should not be written here. Okay? Yes. So the next one, metal sculptures are intact even today, reflecting the durability. Yes, this can be taken as a point because that strength, the durability of those sculptures, okay, that can be taken. But even this is not a prioritized point. Even this can be later written as a later point. Okay? Yes. Here came the astronomical telescope. And you talked about Raja Savar Jai Singh of Varanasi, Jaipur, Delhi indicates foresight of medieval. Now, this is a good point. Why can't you make this second point? This is about prioritization of points. Okay. And what can be inferred from above achievements? Yes. See, now the question asked about, what did the question talk about? Question asked about what lessons we can draw from them. Now, Bharat has made use of a unique statement here. What can be inferred from the above achievements, which is a very good thing. He is not directly making use of lessons learned from the past. Instead, he has come up with a different phrase. You can come up with such inventions. It's a good thing. Okay? Yes. Now, Indians having very fertile mind and all the above mentions are creations out of necessities. Yes, they are creations out of necessities. But what are you inferring from this, Bharat? This you couldn't write it. You couldn't establish a connection between what have you inferred from this. That means what use we are making in the present time because of the above achievements. Okay, this point you have missed, Bharat. So please make a note of it. Yes, see, Brahmagupta, Aryabhatta calculated size of Earth. Now, all this should come in your second dimension. That is science and technology of ancient India. Whereas you have written this in your lessons learned. Okay, till here it can be till in the second dimension. And this part, being an inspiration to modern day youth and scientists, can be an inference of the above achievement. Okay, yes. Mamatha, yes, Mamatha, you can talk about lost wax technique also. Yes, you can definitely do it. You can just mention it, not as a unique point, but as one example. Okay. Yes, King's contribution, research and development must be replicated in modern day democracies. Must be replicated. See, you are suggesting. Please see this point, everybody. Bharat is suggesting must be replicated, whereas your heading is what we are learning from it. So when you learn something, you have to write what we are learning from it, but you should not suggest something there. Is it clear, Bharat? Please tell me. Is it clear? You should write what we have learned from ancient and medieval science and technological advancements, but you should not suggest here that they must be replicated. Okay, this thing you have to make a note. And role of science and technology cannot be denied. This point is right. This point is can be written. Yes. Modern day achievements of ISRO are the success genes in our DNA. This is a very good phrase used by Bharat. ISRO are the success genes. Achievements of ISRO success genes in our DNA, inherited from our forefathers. This also is a good line. But can anybody tell me why I'm saying that this entire conclusion is not appropriate for this answer? Because, okay, let me tell you all, let's not waste the time. See, Bharat, this conclusion and the usage of words is very good. The phrases also are very good. But this is for a science and technology answer, not for a ancient and medieval history answer. So please, everybody, you should have a clarity about which answer you're writing. So if you read this whole paragraph, you will see only science and technological answer. Research and development, modern day achievements, ISRO, DNA, all this is science and technology. You didn't make a single mention about history. Fine? Understood, Bharat? Is this review helpful to you? Are you feeling bad? Please tell me. Are you feeling bad for taking your paper? Okay, Bharat. Yeah. So this is about Bharat's copy of first question. Now, next copy, I want to go with the first question itself, and that is Vinesh. Vinesh, are you in class? Okay, Bharat, that's the spirit. You should not feel bad. Very good. That's the spirit. Yes. Vinesh, are you in class? Yes. So Vinesh is in class. He has sent me a direct message. Yes. So now see the copy of Vinesh. See, Vinesh is saying present advancement in science and technology is due to past experiments, which will help in the sophistication of day-to-day life. Now, Vinesh, you tell me, after listening to this class, is this introduction correct? Yes. So Vinesh is agreeing that this introduction is wrong. So see, now you yourself understood that you have written a wrong introduction. Fine. Next one. Major inventions of ancient and medieval Indian periods have a huge impact on modern societies. This line is fine. But why this line, Vinesh? Major inventions of ancient and medieval India periods have a huge impact on modern societies. Why again societies here? So even when you use proper words, please make sure you use them properly. Okay? Yes. Now, advancement of science and technology in ancient period. Civil engineering and architecture. Underground drainage system. Rock cut caves of Ajanta, Ellora. Metallurgy. Agriculture practices. Astrology and physics. Now, Vinesh, you tell me what is wrong in this dimension. JV, Kalyan, and Nitin. I hope both of you are in class. Next copies are yours. So please stay in class. JV, Kalyan and Nitin. So Vinesh, tell me, what's the mistake you have made in structuring your answer? I'm not going to talk about content. Okay. Okay, I think Vinesh is not able to come up with an answer. Yes, I'll tell you. See, Vinesh has talked about civil engineering, architecture, drainage system, rock cut case, metallurgy, agriculture practices. So he has mentioned good points, but the negative aspect in his answer is the prioritization. See here, he has written astrology, physics, mathematics, which are broad aspects in the last, medicine in the last. So these should be written first, along with mentioning of the names of the people involved. This is history, so you have to write names. So Vinesh was missing writing about names. So please mention names also in history. Okay, so these should be written first, then followed by agriculture practices, metallurgy, this Ajanta Ellora caves, architecture, drainage system, all this should be written later. Okay, this is one aspect. Then advancement of science and technology in medieval period. See, marine development, agriculture, chemistry. Don't you think all these are general points, Vinesh? So you're not writing about any very important points in the prioritized way. So please make sure you prioritize the points. Okay? Yes. Now this is a good point. Marine development happened, but you can also mention about the rulers in front of whom this development has happened. Okay? See, internal and external transportation was increased. This is a general line. So don't go with general lines. Right. This is about this aspect. Then talking about conclusion, most of the advancement of science and technology are utilized in the modern scholars and scientists in various fields in order to achieve efficiently in the human lives. Now see this important aspect. Vinesh has written 4 lines without a pause. Now examiner won't have this much patience to continuously read your lines without having a full stop. So most of the advancement of science and technology are utilized in the modern scholars and scientists in various fields in order to achieve. So please have a pause somewhere, at least a comma, so that he will stop and he will understand what you're writing. Okay? Yes. Now next one is to make their works easier. So one, not live happily without past experiences. No, Vinesh, this conclusion is suitable for essays, but not for this specific GS answers specifically for history. Okay, you can improve a lot and you have a very good handwriting, very good clarity of expression. Okay, make sure you involve all the dimensions appropriately and work on prioritization of points. Okay, Vinesh? Yes. I think you're part of advanced mode, right? I'll give you even more detailed personalized feedback, Vinesh. Okay. Yes. So Bharat says, ma'am, I have one doubt. Is the multiple dimensions of substantiating taking dimensions helps in exam? I didn't understand this, Bharat. Multiple dimensions or substantiating taken dimensions. I didn't understand. Can you please elaborate? Yes. The next copy is Nitin. Nitin, are you there? Just have some patience. We'll end the class in some time. Nitin, are you there? Okay. I didn't receive response from Nitin. JV Kalyan is in the class. Yes. So Kalyan, I'm going with your second answer. Yes. So Kalyan says, why Indian rulers couldn't defend their kingdoms against foreign invaders during the early medieval period? What were its implications? Now, see, he has started his answer with location of India is between Himalayas in north and Thar Desert in west and rest is peninsula. Now, till here, Kalyan, you tell me, is it sounding like a history answer?
Geography answer ತರ ಆಯ್ತದು.
Yes. Who was it? Please tell me your name. Who was that? Please tell me your name and response so that I'll know. Okay, I think that person doesn't want to reveal the name. Yes. So yes, it is not sounding like a history answer. So when the examiner has started reading your answer, and if he sees this slide, do you think he will get an interest to go beyond? No, right? So introduction should be in such a way that it should instill that interest in the reader to go through what is there after that those introduction lines. Okay. Yes. Now next part. Most invaders in medieval times came to India from high mountain passes of north. That is fine. But is it relevant for this introduction? So even this is not relevant for introduction. You can skip this part. Most invasions in medieval India was from Central Asia and Middle East. Why? Why are you talking about most invasions? What is the need for you to tell from which place they are coming? We already know foreign invaders are coming. So in this particular question, why do you have to talk about from which place they are coming in your introduction? So this is not a proper introduction for this answer. Okay, Kalyan? Yes. Now next one. India, yeah, don't make use of such things, Kalyan. Easily use 1, 2. This is more easier and it will be very, very clear for you also. Okay. Yes. India attracted many invaders due to its lavishness in so many things like gold, natural resources, human resources, etc. Okay. So I think Kalyan wants to write, now Indian rulers couldn't defend their kingdom against foreign invaders. Now Kalyan wants to write, foreign invaders are coming to India, but why are they coming to India? It's a very good dimension Kalyan has come up with, but Kalyan, as this is not asked in the question, this becomes non-core part of the question. So you will have core part and non-core part in a question. Core part is which is asked in the question. Non-core part is which is not directly asked in the question, but you feel like writing it, like these points. So for such points, make use of some ray diagram. Write what made, okay, in this box, write what made foreigners come to India, and then write these reasons quickly. Lavishness, like gold, natural resources, human resources. So you will be using only limited space instead of using so many lines and so much space for that thing which is not asked in the question. Use a ray diagram and use very little space. Okay, this can be a dimension. I'm not saying you to not write this, but restrict it to a ray diagram so that you will use very short space and your words, your number of words will be spared. Okay, yes. Next one is factors responsible to fall, or the reasons for the fall of people, I mean, these rulers. Okay, at the time of medieval. Why at the time of medieval again? It is asked in the question itself. The question itself asked about early medieval period. So why are you again using this? Don't you think this is a repetition? So don't use that. India divided into number of small kingdoms. Yes. So lacking oneness. So don't you think you can merge these 2 points? And it becomes a single point. Fine. So Indian kings invite the other foreign invaders to look and defeat his counterpart Indian ruler. That is the enmity. Instead of using this entire 3 lines, why don't you use a single phrase called enmity among Indian rulers? Fine. Next, lack of coherent and unity. Again, you're using the same word. If starting, you have written about number of small kingdoms. There is lacking of oneness. So again, why are you making use of coherent and unity? So this is a repetitive point. Okay. Political instability. This is a good point, but you have written it as a last point. Now implications. Implications is, okay, Kalyan has written all implications at one place only. So loot the wealth of India, destroy the antique and other ancient temples, loot the wealthy temples and destroy it. Why don't you merge all these points, Kalyan? Loot the wealth of India, temples of India, destroy temples of India. All this can be merged. Okay. And positive aspects. Okay, he has written about positive implications also. Own culture, architecture, makes India unique culture among the world. Own culture, architecture, unique culture. Why don't you merge all this? Okay. Now your conclusion. Due to political instability and lack of unification, political instability, lack of unification. So here he is writing the reasons, which is a good thing. Then among Indian rulers is the reason for number of drastic invasions. This is a very good point. in medieval times. This leads to damage and destroy of ancient artifacts and other significant edifices. So this is an implication. Very good. I really liked your conclusion because you have written reasons, you have written about invasions, and you have also written the implication of it. Very good. I like your conclusion. Okay. Now, what I want to say is, Kalyan, you have a very good handwriting, very clarity of writing of words. Okay. Because why I'm saying this is, I know many students can't differentiate between R and S. When they keep on writing quickly, they can't properly write R, S, I, E, C, but you don't have that issue. So what you need to work on is avoid repetition. Try to consolidate your lengthy statements into small statements, and you will see how significant your answer writing skills will change. Okay, Kalyan, is this review helpful to you? Are you part of, I think even you are part of advanced mode, right? I'll give you the review again. Okay, we'll have a direct interaction, Kalyan. Kalyan, as well as who else is part of this initiative? Kalyan and Vinesh. Yes, both of you, I will have a personal interaction with you again. Yes, I received response from Bharat. Many dimensions or just elaborating few dimensions which works. Yes, Bharat, you don't need to go with many dimensions. All the dimensions you have to include. But for structuring, you have to write about main subheadings. Okay, you understood, Bharat? Dimensions, all the dimensions, you have to put the heading, intro, conclusion, whatever is asked, reasons, way forward, all this should be written. But while structuring your answer, you need not write all. You can write only 3 or 4 important points. Okay, Bharat? Fine. So is this class helpful to all of you? Please tell me. Today it's a very elaborative class. Fine. So any doubts? Shall we end the class for today? You understood how to write answer, right? Did you all get a basic idea? Yes, Bharat says yes. Govind says very helpful. Vijay, yes. Mamatha, yes. Kundan, yes. Govind, yes. Okay, okay. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for your patience. Yes, from tomorrow onwards, it's going to be a very quick class. And yes, so keep writing answers, stay consistent. And those who haven't joined the advanced mode, if you feel that this class is helpful, you can have even more better classes in the coming days. So try to join the module and make use of it. And yeah, I forgot to tell you all one more thing. In advanced classes, I'm going to post links also. See, the way I have made here, see, these are the links. So these links, these useful links, useful images or articles, I'm going to post in advanced group, okay? So that for them to revise, and if at all anything is to be learned from mains point of view also, I'm going to post in the advanced group, okay? So please don't compare basic mode and advanced mode, right? So just think about 4 months and how effectively you can utilize this 4 months seriously, very seriously. So please try to join the module and make use of this. It will give you seriousness in writing the answers. And all those who have joined the advanced module, you have to write every day, not only today. Today, many of you have written the answers. You have to write every day, okay? Yes. Okay, Poco says very helpful. Okay, Kalyan says thank you. Okay, you're welcome, everybody. So good night. I'm ending the class for today. Good night.